Well, hello and welcome to ILoveGay today. And we are here with Louise from Australia and GALTA and so many things all related to LGBT travel in Australia. How are you, Louise?
Hey Matt, great to see you. I'm well, thanks.
Oh, it's, for those that don't know, for some of the series that we had put together, the Voices of Australia, with it really tied in with tourism, Louise was my counterpart, helping put all this together and helping wrangle some of the interviews you may have seen and folks that we put up there, and it worked out really well. And we have a few more to do even in the new year.
Yes, and look, selfishly, it was also a great way for me to be able to reconnect with you. It's been a while
Yeah.
since we've caught up with each other, so it's a nice way to see your face again too.
Well, that's what we were talking about. It's interesting because as long as we don't have Zoom fatigue, which in things like this, there's no fatigue for me. So I'm going to hope that there's none for you. Um, but in general, all these meetings and all these things on Zoom. But the silver lining of a lot of this craziness of this year is that when you do it right, it's really brought a lot of us closer together. And I would say that I've noted my relationship with you and others, but then also I'm watching you with John Tanzella and IGLTA, and I'm hearing about how you guys are collaborating on things via this technology that just brings us one step closer together.
Yeah, and it's as we were saying earlier, it's something that was always there that we could use, but I think definitely a silver lining is that we've realised that we can connect over borders, even if the borders are closed, and not just for meetings or for conferences, but also catch-ups with friends. I think the jumping online to have a Friday gin and tonic has become a bit of a thing too in Australia. I'm sure it's found its way around the world.
Yes, my husband does that too. My husband has happy hours on Fridays with his coworkers online. It's insane. But no, I enjoy it because in the grand scheme of things, you and I have connected through IGLTA almost 20 years ago when you were first getting started with Melbourne and helping put Melbourne on the map of LGBT travel. Tell
That's
us a little bit
right.
about that.
Well, I guess when I was I'm now based in Queensland. I was in Melbourne. I was working with Tourism Victoria and managing the marketing of gay and lesbian travel segment for the state. And lucky enough to have a few years attending the International Conference on Gay and Lesbian Tourism in the US, and lucky enough to meet your good self and many people who are still in the industry. Tom Roth, obviously John Tanzella. It's good memories and definitely, for me it was also about finding a balance and getting Melbourne known when at a time when Sydney was probably the only place in Australia that was really known. So we had some great sort of activities both domestically, but also worked on campaigns with Qantas Vacations in the States in partnership with Curve Magazine at the time. So it was definitely a great sort of time in my career, and I look back fondly, and still great to be able to have those connections in the industry.
Well, it's interesting because Montreal and a few others were some of the first destinations to create kind of in today's terms, a landing page, but really at that time, just a part of their website that was dedicated solely to LGBT travel, because most destinations were still a little wary of that. And you were one of the early pioneers for doing that too with Melbourne.
Yeah, that's right. We did have, we had both a printed Melbourne Gay and Lesbian Travel Guide, and then we translated that into web as well. So it had its own dedicated portal, looking at obviously not just city experiences and restaurants and bars and hotels, but also regional areas and places to travel to outside Melbourne for those weekends away, and for both domestic and international travellers, it was the place that we directed any interest to. So,
but now you're up in Queensland, in Noosa area, right?
I am. In fact, I live just in the countryside nearby Noosa Beach. So it's I get the best of both worlds. I can travel, have mornings at the beach, and then hear cows out my back door. Yeah. So, but Noosa's it's a beautiful place, and I know you were saying, it may not have been on the map for yourself previously. Have you been before?
No, I've never been up that way, and so that's where I really have a strong desire to be able to kind of maybe fly into Sydney and just do a road trip and go north. Because the last time I was there 2 years ago, I went south. I went from Sydney to Melbourne. So this time I want to go north.
Yeah, and Noosa has for a long time had a a welcome for gay and lesbian travellers. It's been known for some time as the recovery, sort of post-Mardi Gras recovery, and we had an event here for many years that Rod Stringer, actually, who you spoke to last time, started and ran for many years. So definitely that, come and relax, sit by the beach, drink wine, eat fresh seafood, have a walk in the Noosa National Park, see koalas. It's definitely for, international travellers seeking that local neighbourhood feel by the beach. It's definitely must be on the map.
Yeah, I'm in.
When we can travel again.
I know, which will happen in a step-by-step basis. So I was talking with my husband. We really plan on being some of the first to be able, just once things start to open up and they have new guidelines, and because it's going to be a while before everybody starts going. So we'll be one of those early adopters and see what happens in the world of travel.
You're welcome here. Love to see you.
Well, didn't you take some time off and tour the country?
Oh yes, I did. In fact, it was when I turned 40. And it was my midlife adventure, not a crisis. I travelled, did the circuit around Australia in my 1976 VW Kombi van. So I did living the hippie dream. I spent 6 months touring around Australia, 21,000 kilometres. Not sure what the translation in miles is, but look, and I think the road trip is definitely back on the radar during this time. Most of our tourism boards and Tourism Australia are looking at road trip campaigns. So I can definitely vouch for long ones or short ones. That East Coast drive from Sydney up to Cairns is stunning. But similarly, the drive from Broome to Perth is a must-do as well. So any road trip tips you need, let me know.
No, I'm looking forward to everything, all of it. But then as far as what brought us together for this series, though, but you've been on the board and been leading GALTA for many years now.
Yeah, I've been on the board for some time. I just stepped up into the president role a couple of years ago, and look, we definitely didn't foresee, as anyone did, the year that has been. But we've got some fantastic members all around Australia. In each of the states, hotel groups, tour operators, attractions, and obviously work really closely with Pride events and different Pride celebrations around Australia. And, we're lucky to have not only standout events in our cities that we know and love, but also some really great regional events that are gaining some awareness. And this Broken Hill Festival that you've spoken about in a previous interview in Broken Hill, which is the birthplace of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. There's a celebration up in the Northern Territory, Fab Alice, which is all about outback experiences, and a really great celebration, Chill Out in Dalesford, just outside Melbourne. You have, I know.
I've been to Chill Out. I call it Country Pride.
Yes, and it's long running and it's incredibly popular, and all events, like everyone in the world and the tourism industry, have had to adapt what they do and either postpone, go virtual, live streaming. I've been tuning into the Melbourne Queer Film Festival, has had kind of streaming Saturday nights, so different movies that they would have played in cinemas. So, and it does give you that feel of being together, even though you're streaming in your own lounge room on a Saturday night.
No, they're doing the same here. I enjoy watching how, because I'm always curious what's going to take. What is going to still be with us when everything starts to open up, and we'll kind of, this will be the genesis of a lot of transitions, I think.
Absolutely, and I think we'll look back and see. Obviously, there's been challenge and there's been hardship, but there's been a lot of learnings and a lot of new ways of doing things. And as you said, things like Zoom Room, bringing us closer together. I think hopefully we'll come out of it and I really appreciate travel, really appreciate, human connection when we can have those face-to-faces again.
Well, you're well connected there in all things travel and events and tourism in Australia. Any sneak peeks and fun things for 2021?
Well, in terms of events, obviously in 2021, most events are kind of able to start planning to get a little bit back on track. One of the big announcements in Australia recently was Sydney Mardi Gras, which, as you know, typically the Pride March is kind of the key centrepiece. 2021, they're moving that to the Sydney Cricket Ground rather than it being a street parade. So that will be something different and new, and I think really quite exciting in terms of bringing all of that energy into a stadium and being able to share it with people at the one time. Midsummer, as you know, Midsummer Festival in Melbourne has become Mid-Autumn, just pushed their dates back a little bit. So there's definitely adapting happening.
So it sounds like for World Pride, they're going to, and everything with in a stadium, it'll be more of a production at that point. So it'll be more of a, not so much a production on the street, but a production that they're going to be recording and sharing with the world in a different way. Yeah,
so Mardi Gras have, apart from the attending live, and I managed to get some tickets, so I can't wait. They'll also be broadcasting on SBS network here in Australia, and no doubt there'll be lots of images beaming out around. So yeah, it's definitely, they've kind of been able to meet COVID safe requirements as well as getting the message out still.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be interesting, because I was there 2 years ago as well, and loved it. Loved the being an evening event, and the way it was so different. And so that's the best part is that I feel like I might have a chance to really feel connected to that again as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking beyond that, obviously Sydney World Pride 2023, which all Australia is excited about, and anticipating at that time that flights will be hopefully back on track, and we will be able to welcome international travellers in person to that event. So they're getting their planning underway, and they're well advanced in looking at opportunities. In fact, they're launching their partnership prospectus tomorrow in Sydney for looking at how to get involved.
Wow, I love it. Well, this is great, and like I said, I really appreciate you're able to help us pull so many folks together, Midsummer and Sydney World Pride, and bringing them on for some of our interviews. And not just very much looking forward to the day when I'm going to be able to actually hang out and do this in the real world with you again.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that day. And as I said, welcome to come and stay here in Noosa with us. And hopefully we can join you in some of the events around Australia at that time.
I love it. Well, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks, Matt. Great to see you. Bye.
Take care.
So good.